Yo, YouTube, what's going on, y'all boys, man? Back at y'all with another reaction, man. We got 4 most disturbing moments caught on live stream footage, man. Let's get into it.
Authorities in Northern Ireland came across a bizarre crime scene where the most likely suspect was somehow in 2 places at once. It all started on the 18th of December when Irish YouTuber VoteSaxon07, whose real identity is 33-year-old Stephen McCullen, live-streamed himself playing GTA Vice City. The stream started at around 6 p.m. and Stephen stayed live for about 6 hours, till midnight. The stream itself was quite unremarkable, with Stephen playing the game mostly in silence, broken by his occasional commentary. Unfortunately, while he was streaming comfortably in his home, his 32-year-old girlfriend, Natalie McNally, was going through something downright horrific. Stephen, however, was completely unaware of this and promptly went to sleep after ending the stream. The next day, he woke up to a barrage of calls and messages regarding Natalie. She was apparently at her parents' house the night before to watch the World Cup finale. The match ended at around 6 p.m. and Natalie went back to her home shortly after, which wasn't too far away. She lived alone in Northern Ireland with her 2 cats and a dog. However, the next day, no one could get through to Natalie. She didn't show up to work and wasn't picking up her phone either. At the time, she was also 15 weeks pregnant with Stephen's child. So when she was silent, her friends and family grew worried, fearing she was facing some health concerns. After learning about her absence and waiting a few hours for a response, Stephen went to her home, which was about 20 minutes away from his home in Lisbon.
Why did they live together?
Unfortunately, he was too late. When Stephen arrived at Natalie's home, the door was wide open. Inside, he found her lifeless on the floor. She had been killed.
Detectives from the Major Investigation Team have now launched a murder investigation following the death of Natalie McNally in Lurgan. This follows the results of the post-mortem. The 32-year-old died a violent death, having been stabbed a number of times, and there are signs of defensive injuries.
Post-mortem reports showed that she was killed on the night of December 18th,
but the door is wide open though.
Her parents' home. However, investigators did not find any evidence of a forced entry into her home. This, combined with the fact that Stephen was the one who reported her death to the police, made him the lead suspect in her murder investigation. And he was arrested shortly after.
If he really didn't do it though.
This arrest didn't last long, because as the authorities quickly found out, Stephen had a strong alibi.
I ain't gonna lie, they got a strong alibi. Just
Natalie was killed
niggas be messing up, bruh. Niggas are going that shit too nervous and shit. Like,
investigators looked through Natalie's phone and found the last text Stephen sent to her at 5:57 p.m., which read, "Right, I'm off to stream the night away. Wish me luck." To which Natalie replied, "I might have a peek at your live stream later."
No way, bro, did this to his girl,
Stephen's
right?
name from any wrongdoing. But it left investigators with no clear direction on where to look next.
Damn.
Stephen did give them the name of someone he suspected. However, investigating that person didn't lead to any breakthrough in the case either.
Damn.
And the name of this person was never made public for this reason. Luckily, detectives found CCTV footage a few days later showing a man dressed in dark clothes and white shoes heading towards Natalie's home at 8:52 p.m. And then the same person going back about 40 minutes later. Given his timing, investigators determined that this was the killer. Shockingly, he had the same height and build as Stephen. This put him on the radar once again.
How did he do
also raised
it?
A valid question.
If he was live streaming,
Stephen was the perpetrator, how could he be in 2 places at the same time?
What the fuck?
Without any other option, the authorities put a £20,000 reward for information regarding the killer.
He could have nah.
They also
he could have did a rerun stream. That's possible,
the killer could have easily fled to any of the neighboring countries. In the meantime, Natalie's case had become national news, resulting in multiple memorials around the country. This put even more pressure on the investigators to find the killer as quickly as possible. They made several arrests and even seized the suspect's car. Investigators also found the weapon the killer used on the 5th of January 2023, which was a knife from her own home. However, none of these developments brought them any closer to identifying the killer. That is until January 31st when they arrested Stephen again, but this time with solid evidence.
No way he did this
shit. The only thing keeping him out of suspicion, the live stream, was completely fake. The whole thing was pre-recorded and broadcasted to simply look like a live stream.
I knew it.
After his arrest, investigators went through his computer and found the original recording, which was made on the 14th of December, 4 days before the incident. They also found a taxi driver who described picking up someone matching Stephen's profile near the murder at 9:30 p.m. and then dropping this person near Stephen's house. Most importantly, according to the taxi driver, this passenger had forgotten his wallet at home, so he quickly ran inside his house to get the money. And as expected, he ran into Steven's home. All this evidence left no doubt in the fact that Steven was the one who went to Natalie's home to commit a predetermined crime.
What the fuck?
In hindsight, there were plenty of suspicious moments during the fake live stream that should have raised more alarms. For starters, the stream was titled The Violent Night Christmas Live Gaming Stream.
I mean, if he wasn't responding
Steven
to comments,
that he was
it's
having
kind of
technical
obvious.
issues with the streaming software, which he used as an excuse as to why he wouldn't be able to interact with the live chat.
Well, because this...
You're that trying hard?
It means I can't check the live chat, which is a real shame. So, by all means, talk amongst yourselves.
This ensured that no one questioned why he wasn't talking with his viewers.
You really wanted to go that hard to get her gone?
Instead of posting a pre-recorded video. At the start of the stream, Steven made sure to repeatedly mention what day it was.
This dude's a
Hello to
pussy.
all on this glorious Sunday evening. Yeah, so I just thought, why not? I'm gonna do a live stream because
Look at this pre-recorded.
It's Christmas. So what more could you want for Christmas?
Who was watching
an
this?
evening with your old pal Steven.
This was likely an effort to make his alibi stronger and to say, look, I was streaming the same night. I even mentioned the day at the beginning.
So this is premeditated like crazy. You thought you was finna get off, buddy.
Like him singing about killing someone in-game, which can also be interpreted as him cryptically talking about his girlfriend.
I need to kill it.
That could be.
I need to take her down.
Well, nah, never mind. That's kind of crazy. Cause who is nigga? That has nothing to do with what he's doing right now.
Don't get this to talk. Tra-la-la.
At another point during the stream, he makes a pun that sounds like Natalie's name and finds it unusually amusing.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's crazy.
That's physics. That's what would happen in the real world. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The most creepy moment, however, was
snitched on
about
himself.
halfway through the stream.
Dumbass nigga.
While he was on break, suddenly the live stream back soon graphic switched with a poster of a James Bond movie called No Time to Die. Steven later claimed that this was an accident. He accidentally dropped his controller on the keypad, which made the strange graphic come up. But since we now know that the livestream was pre-recorded, Steven deliberately included this graphic at this point during the editing, likely alluding to the crime he was going to commit on that day. This theory becomes even more credible once you consider the fact that this movie poster came up at about 9:15 p.m., which perfectly aligns with the time he was at Natalie's house committing the brutal crime.
Nigga paused the live
stream. His clever schemes were derailed and he was charged with murder. He was also refused
I didn't think
bail.
he did it.
And at the time
but
of
I didn't think about
he's
the
awaiting
pre-record
trial
shit at
on May
first.
6, 2025. Hopefully Natalie and her family can get the justice they deserve.
Yeah, you need to book, gang. That's ridiculous. Premeditated like that.
On April 4th, 2020, Ernest Wilson went live on Facebook during a house party, without knowing that these were his final moments alive. Ernest was a 24-year-old warehouse worker living in Baltimore, Maryland. The only passion he had in life was for partying, playing board games, and turning them into drinking games. Unfortunately, the 2020 pandemic and the subsequent lockdown closed every public venue he frequented. So he decided to take matters in his own hands and came up with a solid plan.
House parties?
He would rent Airbnbs, host an invite-only party which he referred to as a game night with a fee to cover the expenses, and have a good time with his friends. These parties started off small but quickly grew in numbers as more and more people became aware of them. And on April 3rd, he went onto Facebook to plan another party that weekend, asking, should I do game nights again this weekend? And we playing hide and seek at game night tonight? After receiving enough confirmations, he decided to go ahead with the plans and announced a 2-day game night with free entry for girls and a $5 fee for the guys. Not long after this announcement, he also made a post about bringing uninvited people, stating, "Please don't show up with nobody I didn't personally invite if we didn't discuss it first. They're going to get left outside."
Bro.
Maybe he had experienced problems with uninvited guests at past
That should be annoying. Like,
maybe
I gotta pause for that. Like, you ever invite your homeboy? No, not even your homeboy. Let's just say, I don't even know. Let's say you invite your homeboy, and then he bring his homeboy that you don't talk to. Like, I'm like, nigga, why would you bring him? That should be pissing me off. I hate when
he simply wanted to know the exact number of attendees ahead of time. But in hindsight, his concern makes a lot more sense.
And it's dangerous too, because you don't know what niggas be on.
Ernest started the event, and it went just as well as he could have hoped,
I don't
with
know them
everyone
niggas you
dancing
with.
and having a good time.
Well, homies might
That
be on
is
some
until
different time.
2:30 a.m. when the group decided to play the hide-and-seek game they discussed earlier. Ernest took charge as the first seeker and began a countdown at the Airbnb's backyard.
1, 2.
Not gonna lie, hide and seek do hit, and they drunk as fuck too. So
6.
not a bad idea, but probably
However,
with the
as
wrong
soon as he
niggas.
began searching for his friends, he stumbled upon something completely unexpected.
1, 2, 3. Who the is that, G?
I don't know.
Get your on the other side of this gate.
Are they blicked up?
Who the?
Are y'all blicked up?
This can't be one of my friends.
Are y'all blicked? Y'all not blicked
He
up?
saw someone trying to jump the fence and break into the property. Now, the correct response would have been to go back inside the safety and call the cops on this intruder.
Nah, I would have had my
However,
blick.
Ernest was already a bit under the
No
influence
blick?
at the time and made the biggest mistake of his life. He decided to confront the man on his own, and that's when things took a turn.
Oh yeah, I would just had
The
finger on
intruder
trigger.
was armed, and after some back and forth, tragically shot Ernest before fleeing the scene, all of which could be heard on the live stream.
What'd he say? What?
Which could be heard on the live stream.
Hold on. I don't know what he said. Hold on, where captions at? It's exactly what we need captions for, buddy. Cause nah, what did he say when he first came
Live
out? I'm sorry, my fault, yo, my
Live
fault,
stream.
my fault.
With tragically shot Ernest before fleeing the scene, all of which could be heard on the live stream.
You don't even say what he said.
The police arrived at the property at 2:45 a.m.
Were you trying to rob
and found
him?
Ernest lying in a pool of his own blood.
Why wasn't
According to
he
the few
strapped
statements that
up?
were released to the public,
Damn,
this appeared to
bruh.
be a case of a robbery gone wrong. However, some believe there was more to the story. This is because during Ernest's struggle with the intruder, a girl can be heard laughing in the background. As the story goes, this girl was an accomplice of the intruder who planned to either rob the place or eliminate Ernest for some reason, with one person.
And this is why you can't trust these females will backdoor you just to get some dick. They will backdoor you just to get some dick, bruh. Or for some bread, bruh. And that's why this nigga was saying, bruh, you can't invite anybody. And it probably could have been somebody he knew, to be real, bruh. And this is why I'm not close with anybody, bruh. And I don't think he was armed though. And I ain't gonna lie, you gotta be armed, gang.
On YouTube
Tripping.
writing, that girl tried to let someone in the front door, or she knew who tried coming through the door.
That girl need to be
Once
charged,
discovering
bruh.
it was locked, she told them to hop the fence as clear as day. I would start with her boyfriend. Unfortunately, from what I can find, the police never caught the suspect, and
Wow.
Ernest's case remains open to this day.
Wow.
So, whatever their motive was, I doubt we'll ever know, especially
You just
5
wanted to
years
rob
later.
him? Like, what the niggas be so weird, bruh.
On September 7th,
This be so
2024, a 32-year-old man by the name of Joseph Couch opened fire on vehicles traveling down I-75 near the city of London, Kentucky.
The fuck?
He managed to hit 12 cars, injuring 5 people.
Yo.
Fortunately, there were no fatalities. As
Yo,
authorities
he
rushed to his
started opening
location,
fire?
Joseph managed to escape into
That's
the wooded area
scary.
alongside the highway. This left the investigators
Imagine
with
just
no
going down the road
choice
with
but
somebody
to
just
search the
shooting
Daniel
your
Boone
car.
National
What the
Forest,
fuck?
hoping to find the mass shooter. In the meantime, they also began looking into
That nigga
Joseph's
went in the
past
forest,
and
he
made some
low-key
chilling
smart.
discoveries. He served in the Army Reserve from 2013 to 2019 before receiving an honorable discharge due to him developing PTSD.
Damn.
More importantly, this wasn't his first entanglement with law enforcement. Back in 2015, he was arrested for throwing a rock at a dog and then pointing an AR-15 at its owner. Joseph had to pay
fuck?
$1,000 for bail, and the case was later dismissed.
Platinum
a few
school
months
threat
later.
badge.
However, the same year, he
You know what pisses me off? They will see all these signs and they don't get him help. And then when he goes to a school and does something, and then it's, nigga, you knew he was crazy. You knew what he had. That be the shit that can be prevented, bruh. Like, nigga, he obviously needs help,
was
bro.
arrested again. This time for supplying a
And then
minor
it's
with
too late now,
alcohol
nigga
and
already done shot
vandalizing
people
private
up.
property
He should
with
have
spray
been.
paint. This resulted in him
bruh.
having to spend 6 months in jail alongside
That's not
200
enough.
hours of community service
That's
and
not
a
enough.
$1,500 fine. All of this highlighted just how mentally unstable he was.
And it's still
something
like,
that
bro.
became even more apparent when investigators factored in the messages he sent to his ex before the shooting. These read, "I'm going to kill a lot of people. Well, at least try. I'll kill myself afterwards." His past record and these texts also made it clear that Joseph wouldn't go down without a fight if they managed to find him. Unfortunately, the search for him wasn't progressing as smoothly as they'd hoped.
Boy, you need the
for the
fucking
suspected
chair.
highway gunman
You
Joseph
need a
Couch
chair, bruh.
intensifies as
You
law
niggas need a
enforcement
chair. I don't care
has
about that mental health
expanded
shit.
search efforts.
Nah, I
State
don't.
police
He
say
already
they
got
are
the help.
extending their search deeper into the Daniel Boone National
We gotta start
Forest
blaming the
as
people that's
manhunt for
releasing him
Couch
from the
enters
mental,
day
bro,
7.
hospital. Because why are y'all
Local
releasing this
agencies were
nigga?
forced to close a section of I-75 and shut down schools, fearing Joseph might strike again. Eventually, they did manage to find his SUV, which also had numerous cases of ammo for the AR-15 style rifle he used for the shooting. However, this didn't provide any clues about his current whereabouts. In a desperate measure, the authorities put a $35,000 reward for finding Joseph to enlist the help of locals. And that's where the McCoy couple entered the picture. Fred McCoy and his wife Sheila operate a museum dedicated to the historic feud between the Hatfield and McCoy families.
Some money
in
come up,
Kentucky.
niggas get to talking.
They also run a small YouTube channel dedicated to this museum called Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures, where they discuss the various aspects of that feud in greater detail. After hearing about the massive reward, the couple decided to give it a go. They had lived in the area their entire lives and knew the wilderness well.
$35,000.
35,000. Holy shit, nigga, I would have been. Nigga, I would have hunted. Actually, he got a gun, so actually, I don't know if I would have did that. I just would have been strapped up. I damn near probably would have ended up popping his ass, to be real, because then he gonna try to. Unless you can like if you got information type shit, but like 35,000, nigga, I might start looking for him myself. But you gotta be booked up for sure, for sure, for sure.
Looking for him. We're hoping he finds us, but we're going looking for this cat.
Are they looking for him too?
They
Are
also
they
decided
looking
to
for him?
live stream their adventure through the Kentucky forest on YouTube.
Oh,
likely to have
hell
an
no.
instant record of whatever they
I
found.
ain't gonna lie, they're smart as
They
fuck, bro.
truly
There's some
believed they could
hustlers.
find him, and
There's
luck
some
was on their
hustlers.
side.
Nah, there's some
Because during
hustlers.
one of their live streamed expeditions, Fred noticed a whole bunch of vultures hovering over the same area, possibly indicating a rotting corpse nearby. The two decided
they still
to head
pay him
towards
if he
the
dead?
vultures. And just 30 minutes later, the McCoys found what they were looking for.
Wow. Wow.
found it?
That nigga started celebrating.
Atlanta. I'm coming.
They're not even like scared.
Found him.
They're excited, nigga. They up.
Oh, my Atlanta.
Ugh, he stink though. That shit look
They
nasty.
immediately
probably.
alerted the authorities, who used DNA testing to confirm the body was indeed Joseph Couch.
Do they
A
get
later
paid though?
autopsy report also confirmed that he went through with the plan he talked about in his message.
He killed, yeah, he
After
offed himself.
13 days of searching, the I-75 shooter mystery
Damn.
finally came to a close.
Oh, that's so
ending
soft,
the
bro. He
manhunt
need to serve
and
his
easing the
time,
fear
bro.
of
Nigga take the
Joseph
easy
still
way
being
out.
there.
Wait, huh? Wait, what?
Ending the manhunt and ease of searching, the I-75 shooter mystery finally came to
Oh,
a close,
okay.
ending the manhunt and easing the fear of Joseph still being out there.
Okay.
On October 28, 2019, a 47-year-old Japanese man named Tetsu Shiohara live-streamed himself climbing Mount Fuji. And what was supposed to be nothing more than a fun stream quickly turned into an avoidable tragedy. You see, Tetsu had been climbing Mount Fuji since 2017 and had already reached the summit many
Mount Fuji?
times. However, all of those previous expeditions were during the climbing season, which stretches from July to mid-September. And while it's not an easy task, it's far safer during these months with maintained trails, milder weather, and resting huts along the way that also sell essential supplies like food and oxygen cans. So when
Tight.
Tetsu decided to climb the mountain in late October, it was already covered in thick, slippery snow.
Oh, you did that shit in
And the conditions
snow?
were
He's
far harsher than he
tweaking.
could have imagined, with winds reaching up to 60 miles per hour.
Oh, yeah.
All of the resting spots on the mountain were also closed for the off-season. But
Oh,
despite this being his
no.
first off-season climb, the unfavorable conditions did not deter Tetsu.
What are you doing,
He was
though? You
determined
got
to reach
nowhere
the
to
summit
stay
and make it back in a single day.
in a
Unfortunately,
day?
the stream didn't get off to a good start, as he forgot to bring essentials like thicker socks to keep his feet warm and crampons to prevent his shoes from slipping.
待てソックス
Nigga, I would have turned around. You bugging.
靴下忘れたいや違うバス何がちょっと待って
Later, he also commented on how he didn't bring any food with him to avoid making his backpack too heavy. But as the climb continued,
Dang, are you
not having
good?
food
No
became
food?
the least of his worries, as he quickly realized the snow that day was deeper than he could have imagined. On his way to the top, he passed several points where the trail had collapsed due to bad weather. About 2 hours into the hike, his viewers started to notice how dangerous things were getting as well, and began urging him to turn back before reaching the summit.
一般客なの。そうやね。せやね。でも山頂まで行けちゃうと思うよ。
No, bro. Why was he forcing?
However,
Like
he
he had something
ignored
to
all the
prove.
warning signs and pressed on with the hike.
It's like he had something
And
to
by
prove,
sheer
bro.
willpower, actually managed to get close to the summit. Sadly, this is where his luck ran out.
They mean the tight. I mean,
While
they mean the
treading
top.
through a particularly steep section of the trail, Tetsu slipped and fell down the mountainside.
外埋まってんだけど雪で。
He slipped.
よし行こう。ここも危ないね。斜面。あ、滑る。
Seconds after slipping, his phone hit a rock and turned off, ending the live stream. His viewers immediately
You can just tell, bro. He's sliding, and when you're sliding on these mountains, there's nothing but hard rocks, bro. And then plus you're going probably fast. Yeah, bro. Climbing mountains, not it, bro. Not in the snow, bro. Hell no, not in no snow, bro. You can tell he's gliding, or was that
after
his
slipping,
phone?
His phone hit a rock and turned
That was his
off,
phone sliding,
ending
but
the
you
live
can tell
stream.
he slipped though.
His viewers immediately alerted the authorities. However, due to the harsh conditions, it took rescue workers 2 days to locate Tetsu's body. They
2
found it
days?
severely dismembered, 2,300 feet below the point where he'd slipped. Now, for most people, this was an open and shut case of an inexperienced and underprepared person misjudging the dangers of Mount Fuji.
I would never
But
do
I
that,
came
bro.
across some interesting
Nah, I'm not
theories
doing- I would
regarding
never
the
do that.
situation. For example, one person stated, I don't think he wanted to go exactly how/where he did on the mountain, but if you ever saw the live stream, you'd know that he definitely was planning on doing it, probably at the top. The chat was begging him to turn back, and he made constant, likely deliberate references to not being fully equipped.
Exactly.
Additionally, he had a very ample and generous amount of time to turn around if it had purely
Did he
been
just
a
want to
mistake,
kill-
with
did
the
he just
last
want
few
to off
people he
himself?
met warning him to not go any further. In other words, Tetsu intended to end everything that day.
Okay.
The missing equipment was a deliberate decision, not an
Okay.
oversight. Although there's no
Wow,
evidence to
that's,
prove this theory,
maybe.
and we'll
That's-
never know for
that's maybe,
sure
though.
if this was actually his intention.
If he actually just wanted to off himself, that could have been it. Cause like you knew you could have turned around. Like obviously, that's some capitals, y'all boys. Make sure y'all boys hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Comment, do all that, boys. We are out, boys.